Hello, welcome back to another video. My name's Paula and I love nothing more than talking about knitting and crocheting. Today's video is going to be all about knit and crochet spring trends. Now I do say this every single season, but I genuinely have never been less interested in trends than the last few months or this year in general. I have kind of put myself on a spending ban, and with clothing especially, I'm not allowing myself to buy anything new unless it's like really essential, like a new pair of trainers, maybe a new bikini, or like underwear and stuff, obviously, and maybe the occasional like secondhand item. But I really want to stop feeding into trends or just impulse buying in general. I think it's probably because I recently moved house and realized how much stuff I own, and I really don't want to bring any more stuff into my new house. That's probably made me want to spend and buy less things. But despite that, I am very excited for spring to start and to style new outfits with the things I already have. So for this upcoming season, I'm mainly taking inspiration from my spring and summer Pinterest board, and I really want to think about what do the outfits, the images on this board have in common? What are some things that I'm missing in my wardrobe, and what are some things that I clearly really like wearing that I could make more of, whether that's knit or crochet. Now I did still have a look at the spring trends for 2025, and I was actually able to take 3 trends out of that still really resonate with me, and that made me realize that yes, those are some things that I already quite enjoy. The first one is tank tops. I already really love knitted tank tops, and I have been saving a few sort of knitted tank tops over the last few weeks. I would really like to make some myself. I would personally say that they're quite easy to make and quick, especially. I also last summer really started to enjoy knitting with cotton yarn, which is something that I've never really enjoyed before. Typically I really like sort of like a fuzzy or chunky yarn, but I realized that cotton is really fun to work with. So a cotton tank top in particular I think could be really nice. Then they mentioned plaid for spring. I actually sometimes think they pull these trends out of thin air, because what do you mean plaid for spring? But anyways, yeah, I love plaid already. There isn't really enough plaid in my wardrobe for how much I love it. I think if I go for a pattern, I tend to go for a stripe or maybe a polka dot. But with plaid in particular, I have been looking at sort of knitting and crocheting color work that replicates the plaid sort of feel. I think I'd really like to use this in a blanket. I haven't really thought about clothing wise what I would use that for. Maybe like a plaid jumper could be really fun, but realistically a blanket is probably going to be my application. And the last thing that I really liked from their article was the tomato red. I already love red. However, I think this trend has more to do with finding your own personal shade of red. I love a good red moment, but for me a cool toned red works a lot better than like a tomatoey warmer type red. So this trend maybe wouldn't really work for me, but it's just a good reminder that I do really like red tones and to just include them into my project more. I have already done a bit of that, especially like a strong red and a strong blue moment I've really been enjoying. Before we move on to my own personal spring trends, I just want to thank today's sponsor, Craftsy. If you don't already know about Craftsy, it is an online community and resource for millions of crafters, makers and DIYers to find creative inspiration, advance their skills, and even learn lots of new skills along the way. They offer more than 2,000 classes in over 20 categories like knitting, crocheting, sewing, painting, cooking, baking. The list is endless. The instructors are all very friendly and share their creative wisdom as they provide very easy to follow step-by-step lessons on your chosen topic. The class that I always talk about is pattern writing for knitters. I found this so helpful as I've been kind of upping my skills on pattern writing within knitting in particular, but they also have some incredible classes on things that I literally don't have a clue on yet. A class that I'm very drawn to is the knit socks 2 at a time one, which I would have never thought I would say, but yes, I would like to knit socks maybe this spring, and this class just seems perfect. I always find learning a new skill or a new method in a skill that you're already familiar with always very overwhelming because you don't even know where to start. There's so many instructions and guidelines online available, but Craftsy literally makes it so straightforward with all of their classes that they're providing. If you also want to try out Craftsy for yourself, then the first 1,000 people to click the link in my video description will get a full year of premium membership for only $1.49. And as I always like to say, there's so much that you can learn within that year. Thank you again so much, Craftsy, for sponsoring this video, and let's have a little look at my Pinterest board and what's coming up for me this spring. As I already alluded to just now, I never thought I would write this down, but I think I will have to make my very first pair of socks this spring. I already love wearing mules and slippers pretty much throughout the whole year, but especially in spring and summer. And because most of my outfits are very minimal, quite basic, I love wearing a fun coloured sock with my outfit. Now, knitting socks isn't necessarily something I really want to do, but looking at my Pinterest board, that was literally the first thing that I saw in common amongst loads of the things that I've pinned. So maybe this is a sign, a little nudge that I should just get over myself and knit some socks already. Then I can see lots of sort of low waist, mid-rise mini skirts. To be honest, I think most of my inspo for those types of skirts isn't necessarily knit, so this is probably something that I would integrate into my sewing, especially sort of a black, white, beige, linen-y type of fabric. I think would be really, really good for those. Very similar to that, I love a mini short. I already made some last summer. I crocheted some and I sewed some, and they actually ended up being my most worn item throughout the whole year, I think. So this is pretty much a no-brainer for me. I would love to make a knitted version as well, maybe even come up with my own pattern for that. That would be really cool. I could literally pair these with anything on my Pinterest board. I could wear them with a white t-shirt, a tank top, a denim shirt, an oversized jumper, even like a dressier type shirt. Endless possibilities, so these are an absolute must for my spring wardrobe. Then I already planned this in my winter project video to sort of prep for summer, but I never got around to doing it in the end. But it is to make some kind of like fun bags. I just feel like there's nothing quite like a fun, vibrant statement bag to really, again, brighten up a quite boring outfit, especially as the days are getting longer, it's getting warmer, and I'm sort of spending more time outside. I naturally need to carry a lot more stuff with me, so like a nice big sturdy bag that is fun, that is vibrant, that I can just pair with a pair of jeans and a white t-shirt, but that will then kind of like make the outfit pop a bit. It's just ideal for the springtime and very similar to the socks. It's just a great accessory to jazz it up a bit. This one's quite basic, but some loose jumpers. Now, I already have many jumpers that I can wear in this way, but there are also still so many jumpers that I want to make. So I find this quite reassuring to see that if I fancy making another jumper, I don't have to be put off by the fact that it is now spring and summer's coming up, because there's still many ways that I can wear them in the warmer months. I think in spring especially, it's still kind of a bit chilly out, especially in the evenings, and I love the idea of wearing a chunky sort of loose jumper with some shorts or just thrown over a dress. So I'm sure these will come in really handy. In a very similar vein, cardigans and zip-ups, they feature a lot less on my Pinterest board, but I know from experience in previous years, I actually really like wearing, even more so than a loose jumper. I would usually kind of like button a cardigan just at the top, so I still get a bit of a breeze coming through from the bottom. I'm always on a mission. I'm always walking everywhere very quickly, and so I pick up quite a sweat pretty much every day. So this is quite an important point for me to, get the airflow going. Zip-ups I think could be a fun option to jazz it up a bit. They're not something that I wear a lot in my wardrobe naturally, so I'm a little bit hesitant about this type of project being something that I'd actually wear. But I equally could see myself wearing like a stripy loose sort of zip-up, especially in like a cotton yarn. I think that could be quite cool to make and to wear. And then we're already at the last point. This was a speedy round, but I feel like the more that I do these videos, the older I'm getting and the more I'm knitting and crocheting, the more I know exactly what I like wearing, what I like making. And so I quite like that these videos are getting more and more compact, because there's no more, oh, I could do this, or I could do that. None of that. This is what I like, this is what I will make, and that's the video. But anyway, saying that, the last thing I want to mention is knitted trousers. Now, I fear that I may lack the patience for this. Maybe this is a good project if I ever fancy getting my knitting machine out again, saying that I literally put it up into the loft the other day because I haven't used it in such a long time. But why this could be quite fun in the spring, especially, obviously it's still a bit colder, so knitted trousers could be quite fun. I really like wearing jeans. I wear them around the house as well. There's something about putting a pair of jeans on in the morning that makes me feel a lot more motivated. It makes me feel more put together, and I don't really like wearing sort of looser trousers just because I feel like I'm wearing like pajamas, and I will then not get anything done in the day. However, I think if I maybe hand knit a version of like these stripy trousers in some fun colors or a fun pattern, it might give the project more of a put together feel, and I'd actually get a lot of wear out of them. Also with just like a white tee and like a cool little trainer or like a nice slip-on shoe, that could be really, really fun. But this is definitely the one I have the least hope in me recreating, just out of patience and time. I think I'm much more likely to just whip up a jumper or a cardigan. And with that, we have some knit and crochet spring trends, ideas, plans for this year. I love to hear what your plans are for this season. What's like a project that you 100% will be doing, and what's a project that you would like to do but you probably won't, just based on time. Would love to know, would love to get some inspo. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to check out Craftsy following the link in my description, and hopefully I will see you next time. Goodbye.